you discussed that, and we thought you should know about it. And it was discussed at a work session. So anyway, that's why we provided it to you. We thought you would probably have an opinion.
Well, we've been kind of jealous of the information of absentee voter cards, you know, so if you reduce the residency information on the rolls, what does that mean for the voter? They have to do something, as I understand it, they have to actively say they don't want their residence address listed on the voter roll. Is that right?
So, I just want to let everyone know we are
Okay.
on the record.
Okay, good.
And part of the conversation that we had when we were working on the rewrite to the code was that if somebody was out of town and then this information was public, that it puts somebody, potentially would put a voter at risk, and that we didn't want to be releasing that information. We've gotten contacted by campaigns and political parties on this because they want to be able to contact voters with campaign material. So that was why we had made the decision to not release that information, that if you were wintering in Arizona or you were on vacation in Hawaii, that is now public information.
They didn't want to be on a come get me list, right?
So, there is elections, and the Assembly Elections and Ethics Committee is reviewing this on Thursday
11:30.
at 11:30 in this room.
Correct.
Are we expected to respond to this with our recommendation, yea or nay?
That you can come testify at the assembly meeting. You can, if you would like to have a meeting as the election commission and prepare a response, you're more than welcome to that. I emailed Gwen and I said if that you were interested, I'd be happy to schedule a meeting for you to review it. If you would like to submit a resolution to the assembly, you can do that with your feedback on it. So anything that the election commission is interested in doing, the clerk's office is here as your support staff to help you do that. And so I'm going to go ahead and pass these out.
So Amanda, one thing that I just want to make sure that we're all on board with is if you do want to come and testify on March 11th, remember you can't do it as the election commission unless the election commission has passed a resolution. You can do it as individual citizens, but typically, although this commission hasn't done that, you speak through the chair, and then what the chair says is what you've agreed to. So I just want to make sure that Amanda's recommendation, if you do want to express an opinion, you probably do need a meeting, okay? So you can't just each of you testify about this without having some agreed upon position from the commission. You can't testify from the commission without having a meeting and some type of an agreed upon position. You may testify as individuals, of course.
So I'm going to pass these out because I see I have included an extra copy in there along with your REMS training manual. And I got a call from Vicki requesting a copy of the Title 28 with the amendments, so I've included that document also.
Thank you for that.
And then I have also included, the clerk's office has been working to promote voting early as a way to increase voter turnout. So we've made some fantastic flyers, and so I've included some of those. This has all the absentee and person locations before Election Day and on Election Day. We've also made area town specific ones. So there's a Midtown flyer that talks about the Lusac Library. There's a downtown flyer that talks about City Hall, and then there's a Chugiak Eagle River flyer that talks about voting in Chugiak Eagle River. If you are at any place that you think this would be good to hang up, feel free to hang those up if you'd like more. We're working in our office. We have some folks that, one of our, Elizabeth lives out in Eagle River, so she's been flyering out there, and then other people as I just keep a stack of them in my car, and when I go someplace and I see that there's not one. But just a great way to remind people to vote and to vote early.
Plus in your elevators, I noticed it on the way
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
so that
we
was
do.
very nice. That was the first thing I noticed when I walked in.
So one thing that the clerk's office has been working with the last week is since the assembly passed the ordinance on last Tuesday to move the election to November, we have got a large number of phone calls of people inquiring if this election was moved to November. So we're really sort of trying to combat voter confusion that potentially has arisen from this change of election date. And we are doing that by just having the election plastered everywhere. So if you feel ambitious and would like to hang up any of these signs and want more of them, we have stacks of them in our office and we're happy to do that. But otherwise, just for your reference, know that we're doing that.
Amanda, do we need to call a meeting later?
Yes.
It is a work session.
It's a work session, thank you.
So-
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
But we are on the record. So, and then I think that's all that I have on my end. Pat is going to handle the VREMS training for you. She is a VREMS ace. We have a computer over here, so we can just pull the chairs over behind Pat.
Amanda, can I say something before we do that? I'm with the League of Women Voters, and I know that they have met with your office as well. And we have been doing a lot of voter registration, which is really exciting. I want to let you know that our group went over to BP and offered to do it during their, during the lunch hour during their day, and registered 55 people. And they weren't all new registrations, but some of them had moved and, changed their address or their name or whatever. So we have been to the university twice. And I know that they're going someplace else this week, but I can't recall right at the moment. So it seems like the League of Women Voters has been getting a lot of calls regarding, registration services, which is what we provide. So
The clerk's office got a lot of calls, and we've been referring them to the
that
League of
must be
Women
where it's coming
Voters.
from then, because all of a sudden it's like,
But it was like 3 phone calls in a week, and I was like, call Pat Redmond with
Yeah.
the League of Women Voters.
So anyway, we have been going out doing
That's
that, and
fantastic.
I just want to let you know that I don't think we have ever registered 55 people
Mhm.
at
That's
one
great.
time, and it was fantastic.
That's fantastic.
Great.
Can you help us with the confusion of the voter date change or the election date change? Is November the only one that's going to be this year, or is none going to be this year?
The municipal election, so there's 2 issues that have been going on. One is that the referendum on AO 37 has been moved to the November election. The clerk's office, as of this point, does not know what that looks like, if that is going to be a concurrent election or if it will be run by the state. We don't know the answer to that. So that's one issue. That's this November.
Okay, that's the point.
The other issue that just happened at this last assembly meeting is the assembly voted to move all municipal elections to November concurrently with the state. So, starting in 2017. As of this point, the clerk's office has not had any opportunity to research and review what that will look like, how that will play out. And so we have a few years to do that, but.
Not until 2017.
So you don't know even if you'll use Acuro?
We don't know because the state potentially is getting new equipment, but yeah, we don't know at all what it'll look like, but it would be a concurrent election, so we would be running 2 elections at the same time. And I guess it only affects us during the even years when the state has their election, but we will also have our odd year elections in November then too.
Do you have any input on what kind of equipment they might want to buy?
The questions are great, and we would love to talk to you about this, but no, I'm serious, they are great questions. I don't know if you heard my testimony at the assembly meeting when I was asked. My response was that we have the same goal as the people who are saying that they want to increase voter turnout. The clerk's office has been doing a lot already. We've got a Facebook page, we've got Twitter, we've been working with the League of Women Voters. We started last year. We did the election code rewrite. So you've been involved in many of these things that the clerk's office has been doing to increase voter turnout. That's one issue. The second issue that I told the assembly was, because we are in the middle of election season, we do not have the time to review this and understand what it means, to do the research, to discover if there are any unintended consequences. And we asked the assembly if they would delay until after the election. All right? So right now, all of the questions that you're asking, we're asking too. But I will tell you, Amanda and I are just, we just cannot discuss or deal with them, because this election is the most important thing that we have to deal with right now. So what I'd like to request in response to Vicky's questions is, maybe you need a special meeting in May, and we can all sit down and maybe after this is over, we can have a little breather, and then we can try to discuss these issues, because I think your input would be important.
I apologize.
Now, no apology necessary at all. Second issue that I do want to tell you is Gail Fanumi did write a memo, and so that memo is available if you want to see it. Okay, or yeah.
Well, we could get that in May.
Well, you could get it now or in
I
May,
can do
either
it when
way,
we
it's
start.
done. So
Okay.
So we at least know what some of the issues are, but we just think that, part of it is, it just needs to be out of sight, out of mind for us right now, so we can focus on this.
I've compartmentalized it. I can't think about it because I'm thinking about too many other things. But I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Pat and let you get started with your RUMS training. And then we can go from there. And I will go print that memo from Gail Fanumi.
Have you heard from Bonnie and?
Bonnie was in yesterday and thought that the training was yesterday and had an appointment today. So
Okay.
I told her that I would get her the documents and that we could do a refresher course with her.
And
too.
Sue?
I have not heard from Sue. I
Okay.
think that Sue is still out of town
yeah.
until March.
Okay.
So
I think she said she was coming back the end of March.
yeah, I think that's what I remember hearing from January. So we can do refresher courses with the two of them as it gets closer. All right.
Hello.
So I might work best to slide out your chairs around. Get this screen up so there we go. I guess that's up as far as the screen. Here, let's get it on top of these.
Oh, shoot. You're probably one so you could get this one. I was just.
There's still something we're good for.
We'll let you get yours.
Yeah, right over here.
That's good, yes.
Yeah,
I don't know what
bring
you're
your
talking
chair
about.
out. We don't expect you to stand.
Nope, y'all get settled and let me know when we're ready to roll.
Oh, I stand for a little bit, so I'll
Okay.
And they're all gonna be getting their own sign-ins and all that good stuff, but I'll just use mine today, right?
Yeah.
Oops.
Well, that's
Somebody
on
else?
the screen. I think you're all- most of you are all familiar with it. And you'll have your own ID. That's mine. And your own password. And then you always hit PF2. You don't want to get any announcements. You can be in there for days. So you just hit PF2, and I think all that stuff is in what she gave you. It's kind of step by step. if anytime I do something and then you want me to go back, let me know.
I'm reading that handout. That one.
Page 5, it's in the,
She just told.
Do you
no,
have
it
a-
was in the back page of
I think this might be it.
Okay, I just,
Yep, is that the same thing? Okay.
Page 5.
We'll do this. There we go. Maybe we'll do this. Okay. So then you
And
have
this has PS4 circled. So we should circle PS2.
well, yeah, we haven't got to that screen. We hit PF2 first, up here. Where it says, it doesn't say that. It says
Okay.
PF1.
We
This is
should
where
add
you-
PS2 there.
Yeah. Yeah, this is an old screen. You're right.
Okay, so this should just say PS2, okay.
Yeah, it should just,
I'm
that's,
okay.
that and the announcements are the only thing I think we'll have available on the
She's right
screen.
here. She just put in her password though, and then this is now.
Yeah, this is your password, your user ID and your password.
Got it, okay, thank you.
And then it pulls up this, which this
Got it.
screen just shows a lot more options, but we don't need all the options.
Okay.
So you just hit, and then the F2 is up at the top. And this is where you type in the NGEL SYS equals GEL. And that's right here on this page. I have no idea what that means, so.
Okay,
It's just, that's the way it's always been, okay? And then you get the main menu. And usually you'll use the view voter, the number 1, because that's what you'll have. You'll have the voter's name, social security number, voter number, whatever's on the application. So if you have the name Oldenburg, Pat, you just type the name in, and then you hit 1, and that'll pull up all the information,
Repeat, where do we type the name and what name?
okay?
Oh, it's on the next page, 7.
See on this one, view voter registrar information, oh, what page here?
Okay, 7. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm with you now.
It's on page 7. So you just type in the last name, registered in first, and then the first. And it's like I'm registered as Patricia, but you can just put Pat, and as long as it's part of the name, it'll pull it up.
What about just a P? Is that enough?
If you just put a P, you have to have a question mark, because it needs
Okay.
at least 3 letters, or it doesn't understand if you're done. But yeah, if you can't read somebody's writing and it's Miller T something, you can put Miller T question mark, and then, but this pulls up everything, and then it tells you where they're currently registered, their district, and precinct right here. That's gonna be the most important thing. You pull them up, see here's your district and your precinct. And this tells you the last time they changed their registration. So if they register tomorrow, that's too late. They can't update it's past the cutoff date for updating your registration for this election. So that's how you know if they say, well, I changed my registration. Well, you change it after the cutoff. And usually at state elections, if it's been received after the cutoff, they don't even enter them until after the election, because there's no point.
When was the cutoff date again? Sunday? Saturday?
Yeah, the third, 3-3.
3-2.
3-2. 3-2.
3-2.
3-2, because
Okay,
the
got it. I
election's
thought it
on
was Sunday.
4-1.
Okay.
Yeah, backs up a day, so. And this is where you check all of their identifiers. Here's their driver's license, ADL, their social security, and they can have either their whole social security or the last 4, their birth date, and then a lot of people, if they've worked for elections before, will have a phone number in here, if they didn't put a phone number on their form, in case you have a question. So some people will.
So Peggy's coming back and she's gonna call all those people.
Oh.
She did such a good job last year.
Oh, okay.
Good at that, yeah. Oh, Peggy. I should keep my mouth shut.
Dream on.
Now, if you have, And, oh, I spelled my name wrong, okay. If all you have is the last four, and then you put, you put a question mark here. Because you can't read it or whatever, and then, so you can put the last four in, the last name, and it will pull it up.
You need the question mark.
You need the question mark. You can't leave anything blank in the names. It wants to know that you put in, that you didn't just skip it. It needs something in that field.
So it's a default
Right.
symbol.
So can you key one in that's gonna bring up a whole list of names, like putting in?
Sure.
And then we'll, okay, got it. And then just go through. So how do we go from page to page? I guess that was,
You just hit enter.
in it, okay, got it.
And the way to use these is usually if it's Charles Smith, they will always put their initial or their middle name to help you narrow it down.
Yeah, my husband's name is James and our last name is Anderson, so he
Yeah.
always uses his middle.
There
name.
you go, there you go. And so if it was Charles D. Smith, well, you're gonna end up with 3 Charles D. Smiths. And then you start looking for the SOCH, the birth date, or the driver's license to narrow it down. So then you say, okay, it was the one who was born in 1975, and this date in 1975, and then you just hit that number and pull them up.
Not the address.
You can check by address. You mean like
Sometimes. But
Yeah.
sometimes the difference between them.
sometimes, yeah, but sometimes you can have more than one Charles D. at the same address. And then you have to make sure you check the birth dates so the son and the father don't get mixed up.
It's all coming back.
Yeah. Or if you just have the last 4 and the birth date. Pull that up that way too. There's all kinds of variations. If you can't read something, but you can read something else, that you
But
can
could you
use
have,
together.
and could you have gotten it with just one of those 2 identifiers?
That's exactly gonna be my question, thank you. I was gonna ask if you had to have more than one identifier.
Well, you can with the social security number or the driver's license or the voter number.
Okay.
But the other things focus.
Right.
Okay,
So you can with the SOCH.
okay.
But if you use the last 4 of the SOCH, you need to have a birth date to go with it. And everybody has a birth date. I don't care if they don't drive, if they never applied for a social security card, they were born. That's a fact, or else if they weren't, they shouldn't be voting. But everybody has a birth date, so that information at the least, but not everybody puts the birth date down as their identifier. You can just put driver's license and it'll pull it up. As long as they really remembered the right driver's license.
Yeah.
And wrote it down correctly.
Yeah, and we entered it correctly.
Yeah, and a lot of people are even confused about their birth date. Some people will write when they're filling out a form or something, and they'll write, we just had one yesterday, he had 6/7/71, and he had in Vrem 7/7/71. And so we couldn't count it until we got another identifier, because, and he says, well, why is it that way? I said, you have to call state of elections, they're the ones that do data entry, and then they can research why your birth date is wrong. And this is
Especially in the
like-
back of your home or that kind of situation.
well, this was a young guy, so I think it was just a data entry, a key entry.
Can I ask really quickly, I should probably know this, but
No.
what are we doing this for?
This
That's
is.
I mean, I'm assuming it's for the people, when you have question ballots and things like that, but I wanted to
Right.
make sure.
If you want to verify that because your ballots go out by precinct, so they get the right ballot, you have to make sure, I don't know exactly where in the process you guys verify the right person got the right ballot. Is that what you do? I don't even, to tell you the truth, I don't even know what you do. But, yeah, so that's what this is for. Is to verify that they sent the ballot to the right Patricia Oldenburg at the right, precinct
So
and
this-
everything. It's a verification
And
process.
so these are the question ballots?
These are the by mail
Okay, okay.
and absentee and question.
Okay. That's what I was assuming, but I thought I really probably shouldn't assume.
Right, and right now, the ladies are downstairs, when we get the applications in for a ballot, they're checking them in Brems, double checking that this is their address, et cetera, before they're even submitted to the by mail board to send them out. If there's any questions, or they didn't sign their form, or they didn't have an identifier, then they give them to me. I do the research, tell these people that, let's do what we need to do to get this right, or get another identifier, and then they can continue to put them in the system and keep going. So there's several checkpoints that, the information is verified. But with the applications, it's one step, and then when the actual ballot envelope comes back, you once again need to verify that that's the right person.
So when do we start this process, the 25th of March? Or that-
I'm not sure when,
That's the 7 days before.
yeah.
We also use the REMS during the process, when we're processing the question ballots, also to verify that they are a registered voter in Anchorage.
Right.
Because we found, the last one that I worked at, we found so many that they said that they lived in Anchorage, but according to that, they were in Wasilla or Fairbanks or Nome or Cotteview or wherever. And they wanted to vote, and you're allowed to vote a question ballot, but you may not have
It may not count.
It may not be them.
A lot of people are confused that, because for the state election, you can vote in Anchorage anywhere you live in the state. But in the city election, you have to be registered within the municipality of Anchorage to vote for our election. So some people in Eagle River and Wasilla and stuff think they vote for this election, but they don't.
Eagle River, they do. River does.
Oh, Eagle River. Sorry, Eagle River, Peters Creek, Chukiak.
I was thinking about that one when you
No,
said that. I was
No.
thinking,
Eagle River, Chukiak, and Peters Creek, yes, but past that,
Yeah.
then it's the valley. But so people get, especially the people that are like a little outside of Eklutna, they get confused on that.
That was
Yeah.
one of the reasons for moving the election to April from October. Is that confusion. with
Because the
people.
valley has their elections in October.
Yeah, who's doing what, why?
Yep. And still people are confused. I have people call me wanting an absentee ballot application, and they give me a Wasilla address. And I'm like, well, are you visiting? Because if you're registered in Wasilla, this is not your election. So I have to make it clear to them that we appreciate your interest in voting, but you're not eligible for this election. So I said, there'll be one in August. You can vote in August. So, let's see. What's another way to look everything up? Oh, that's what I was going to do. If you have an address on somebody, but you can't read their name at all,
All right, thanks.
which on the by mail envelopes, when you get them back, there should be a label. When they mail them out, there's a label, so you should be able to read the label. And in case something happened to the label and then you can't read their signature, you can check it by address. So you, first thing you do is view voters, or view GIFs in a city, because that'll help you narrow it down. And just for Anchorage, you just need to do ANC. And then, what's the street? Robin. Whoops. Try spelling it right. Okay, we'll type it out. Okay, so they live on Robin Street, and this means it doesn't matter what their house number is. Everybody who lives on Robin Street is in the same JIP. Okay, if, let's see, find one. Here we go. This one is Rosalind Street. This is only the even house numbers. This is only the odd house numbers within this number range. So you kind of have to do a little detective work.
Middle of the street, isn't
Yeah, and sometimes, yeah, the person on that side of the street and this side of the street can be in totally different precincts. So you just type anything, and you type whatever one applies to the address you're looking up, and that's the GIF. And then you can page through and find if, you know, the last name was Menzel, but you couldn't figure out what that writing was. Okay, the Menzels live at 8531 Rosalind. That's probably Bobby. So then here's the voter number. So you type 9021463 and you pull up Bobby's record.
Could you tell me again what is GIF?
It's the geo, what they call it, the GeoGIF. It's geographical information, something, like database or something. It's how they actually map everything and put them in the database as to where you live.
And is
They
that,
call it the GeoGIF.
and is that how they determine precinct?
Yes. And then someone gets to put all that stuff in.
Yeah.
When anybody, like the post office sometimes will change the name of the street. So then you have to go in and here and change everybody from Robin to Bluebird or whatever.
They used to get one of those assembly meetings, having the guy testify, the policeman or fireman.
You and I were there, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and saying that they are trying to make it uniform so they can find people quickly.
Right. And if you've got a Robin Street, a Robin Court, a Robin Lane, if they're in different parts of town, it's not so bad. But if they go into a subdivision and the fire department is looking for Robin Lane and they accidentally go to Robin Court or Robin Street, then they have to stop and go back, you know. So it can be really confusing if they have the same name but a different, you know, delineator at the end.
So even though we make silly mistakes when we're inputting stuff, we don't change the database at all?
You can't.
Yeah.
Only the state of Alaska can make changes to the database. This is a view only. So you can't do anything to screw anything up.
We need to keep that in mind.
Yeah, because I'm pretty good with my fingers.
You can't do anything to mess anything up.
Good.
And anytime you type something it doesn't like, it'll ding, ding, ding at you, just hit escape.
But if there are corrections to be made, they'll, like on question ballots, that
That's
leaf
on-
that's on there, that's, at least it used to be, torn off and sent to the state so
Correct.
they can update
The
the
floppies,
information.
the state
They
does
do
all
it.
the floppies.
Yeah, the flop.
And like
Our
you
last
said,
things.
the new people that were just registering for the first time on question ballots, which people can do that, and then that floppy is their voter registration form. So, like I said, we don't turn anybody away from voting, even if a kid says they want to vote. You let them vote, everybody knows it's not going to count, but we don't turn anybody away from voting, so.
You tell the person it's not gonna count?
No, that's up to you guys.
Right.
But it's most people that, if somebody asks for a ballot for their 10-year-old child, they're gonna know it's not gonna count because they're not a registered voter and they're not eligible to be a registered voter. But if anybody wants to vote, we give everybody the right to vote. And then it's up to you guys to determine if they qualified for this election, and then it's up to the state of Alaska to decide if they're qualified to be a registered voter. You guys don't have to do that, but you determine if their vote counts for this election. So everybody's kind of got a different piece of the pie.
See, has the state updated their system yet for the new legislative districts?
Yes.
They have, so it's all
And-
updated, so.
The state is going, our new voter system is finally coming online
Okay.
after, I think this is the 10th year. We've been trying to get this new system implemented, like Brem's is really old dinosaur.
So they'll be on board for the August election?
No.
Oh.
It'll take, at least a year,
Oh,
I think,
at
to
least
get
another
on
year.
board.
Okay.
Because we haven't even
Just
started,
curious.
we haven't even started the training, sessions, so,
But has Barams been updated with the new legislative districts? Because some
Yes.
of them changed, okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Yep. Okay, trying to think if there's anything else. Does anybody think of anything else?
Well,
you have a
under
question about?
status, sometimes when we're checking on a question ballot,
Right,
you wanna see an A up there under status.
I was just gonna ask that question. Do you
Yes.
wanna clarify for us because we
Yeah.
are doing it wrong?
I will provide a memo with you, for you when you get closer to starting, that you can have in your binders, cause there's like 3 different things that can be up there, and you're looking for A and P are the okay ones, cause P means that they were purged by the state, and I need to double check with the state on, but purged by, if someone was a purged voter, the state would remove them from the REM system, and if they come and vote again, that is their way to reactivate. So they should count, because they didn't, and then I just need to double check with them on the inactive, but the purged one was one that, that was a learning lesson for us, so that was good.
What was
Is there
the
an
reason?
F too for felony?
Yeah,
Was
for
there an F for felony?
Yeah,
I
so
thought
I'll
there
get,
was, okay.
I'll get a list of all those
Cheat
statuses
sheet.
and have a cheat sheet that you can put in your binder.
Okay.
So
That's
that-
not right.
And again, PS is just petitioner, so that doesn't mean,
And there's a ton of those in there currently, because there were so many petitions that went around. So everyone I've looked up has signed a petition, it seems, in the last year, so.
and that doesn't mean that changed their voter registration or anything.
Yeah.
That's just, they signed a petition and the data entry went in that they signed a petition, so.
And that is just for numbers.
Right,
How
it's
many
just for
people
data
signed it?
showing their
Yeah.
history of what they've done for, elections.
Well, also so that they don't sign a petition twice and get counted.
Right, that's what I'm, yeah. Cause we don't really care if they've signed a petition other than that.
Has no bearing on an election per se. That's just shows that they've had activity. They must be here in the state, it's just signed a petition, so.
Is there ever a time where, looking at the information, and you mentioned, you know, like maybe the individual's birth date was wrong, or let's say the house number looks like it might have been keyed wrong or whatever, is there any time you would call the state and have them hold a voter registration record, or we would just go by what's on the system?
Well, what you could do is call the voter, because they'll have a phone number usually
Mhm.
on there.
Okay.
And if they don't, you know, you can, some people, I guess that'll have them in here, some don't. But you can call the voter and say, well, our database indicates this, and you put that, did you just accidentally transpose 2 numbers? Because some people do that all the time. But some people, in fact, might have just moved to the next apartment
True.
building down the
That's
road
true. That's
and
true.
moved and did move.
Mhm.
So chances are, if it's in the same complex, they did change districts, but, and if you can't find any way to contact that person, then the address doesn't match, but, you know, you could call the state.
And the address goes as far as to the apartment number then?
Yes. Because it has to be post office correct, is what I call it.
Okay.
That if they want to deliver something to the right person, they need post office correct.
Okay, and then history, is that what you were pointing out?
Yes, this is her history. This is, this was her registration, and then this is the microfiche number, which they actually have on DVD now, but, so it's, cassette 585 and document 1095. Everything is microfiched and saved, but now it's saved on DVDs. And the majority of them are all loaded electronically too, so now they can just pull it up on their computer instead of horrible microfiches.
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell me the difference between the registered date, the original registration, the district registration?
The original registration is when, the first time they ever registered as a voter in the state of Alaska. The district reg date is, they moved into this house on October 21st of 13. So that shows that they had another change. And then this reg date changed because they signed a petition.
So that's like the last.
This is the last
the last
activity. Right. But this didn't necessarily change anything in their status.
That's weird.
Right.
Seems strange, yeah.
Well, people can be, like I said, moved to the next apartment building down. They're still in the same district, so this wouldn't have changed if she had moved just like one apartment building down. It's just when you actually physically move from one district to another, then your district reg date will change.
So how will we apply that information to what
We
we're
don't use districts here at all, we only use precincts. So this is just their current precinct. So we don't have different precinct change dates, just districts. Cause that's the way the state does things and we use their database here.
What is the P?
PC, RG is registration, PC is party change. So for this one, they just changed their party.
But over there, the PRA is what I was going to say.
Oh,
No.
PRA
What's that?
is if people say, I don't want anybody to send anything to my house. I want my house address to be private. If they say yes, then they have to have a different address here than their residence address. It has to be different. They can't say, yes, I want a private and not have another address. There has to be an alternate that the state can mail their mail to.
Such as a PO box or
And it
whatever.
won't, and the private address will not go out, this will not go out on mailing lists, but this mailing address will, which is usually people have PO boxes.
So my same question, why do we care? I mean, do we do anything with that PRA symbol? Or-
No,
Yeah.
that's
Well-
only, you don't.
Isn't
you
that
don't
the one
function.
where we don't, I thought we did something. If it's private, it's not available to the public.
Right.
Well, maybe these are the
So-
people that were looking over our shoulders. That's why it was
But I think the applications and that type of thing, they're public. So I don't know how, I know she brought that up, and I don't know how they're working with it, so, but if somebody, I don't know how to find somebody that has a private, so.
Over there on the right, it says manual, and what's that? Capital, yeah, right under alley.
All the years I've been working with it, I've never done anything with that, so that's gotta be a Juno thing.
And what about military? Does that sometime come up? Up there in the middle of the screen there? What are those three things?
Well, this is handicap. If they're handicapped, they automatically get, by mail ballot applications sent to them every year, for every election. Military is if they get, an overseas, designation, so they can get their ballots overseas. And I don't know what the OS is.
What's the rule on, receiving those military things? It has to be postmarked by the date of the election, even though they're deployed?
Right, and then there's different times for, within state, it has to be there within so many days, out of the state and then out of the country. They get, I think, 2 full weeks to get it.
Yeah. And that's important when it isn't with REMS, but when we're looking at those ballot envelopes that are absentee.
Right,
And those dates are different for the
Yeah,
city election.
they're different for the municipality than the state. I was just giving you what the state does.
Yeah, so.
'Cause
So we're not the first screeners among those dates. We're not the first people to check those dates are accurate.
In theory,
Inclusive.
but
Yeah,
we
well,
catch them
yeah, they are.
and we
Some- we
disallow
look for
them.
errors, so.
Yeah.
We have disallowed them when they come to us.
Too late. And that's all in Title 28 in the code that addresses those dates.
And all those ballots are date stamped in when they come in.
So that's something for us to be aware of and kind of look at.
Yeah. But like I said, it's not part of REM's activity.
But we don't have any ballots. Remember we went through this
Envelope.
Envelopes.
Yeah.
You're assuming there's a ballot inside.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's not.
But we tried to train ourselves, so
Yeah.
we wouldn't use that terminology
Right.
so quickly.
Right.
Ballot envelopes, yeah, that's what you do. And that's where the date stamps are.
I have you here, so I'm asking
Sure.
these questions. ABV over down left, ABV, it says N in white, and then permanent ABV.
Must be
Again,
absentee.
I don't know what that is. It's not a data, it's not a field that we ever enter anything in.
Okay.
So I'm assuming it's a Juno database sort thing, yeah.
Wonderful.
And this history is just kind of fun note. This shows how often they voted.
Mhm.
If it's all zeros, they didn't vote in that election. If it's a Q, they vote a question ballot. If it's an A, it's an absentee.
And so this is the state primary general, and our election is this last one over here, the municipal election.
Those are smart numbers.
How is it designated?
Oh, seven,
Yeah.
oh, six.
I don't know what you
Is that
mean.
you're saying?
So
So
the
this
last-
is, I don't know.
This one is a
Four that are
question
out there
ballot
is
for a
the
municipal election.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, where?
And this was an
placed in the number?
absentee for a municipal and a question for a state.
Oh, so I see what you
Those would be
did in the
those
last
numbers.
number.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you
I
could,
saw.
you know, Amanda or anybody at the
So
state,
the-
they can look at this and see, you know,
Who's an active voter?
who's an active voter and who just, you know.
I see.
And if they don't have anything here yet, that means they're a brand new one.
And it, never mind.
And over there, the reference numbers, is that anything? Far, far right, REL?
Yeah, this is the microfiche
That's right.
references. Yeah. And this is the last time anything went through elections, which is usually the same date.
But the registration date does not necessarily mean that they move or anything, it could be just that
They
they.
could have done a name change. They could have,
Change
well, if it
their
was-
party
if it
affiliation.
was only party change, then it'll be a PC. So an RG has to be, they change their address, they change their name.
So that would not
Yeah.
apply to anything we do.
Different number?
That's not an official number for anything that we, like it's not when they registered, that would be original, or if we change precincts, would be,
Right, well, it would be
District.
the district, yeah, reg date. And like I said, we don't really work here with the district, we only work with the precinct.
So could someone print, would it be helpful if someone printed a screen and highlighted the ones that we specifically work
We
with?
can put that together for your binders, and we'll have that ready for you.
So we just, you know, because there's a lot of
Yeah.
information on
There
there.
is.
So we'll work on that and have that ready when you start. That's a really good idea.
Before you, quit, could you go up, all the way out and then enter back in, come back in to the whole thing?
Sure.
So we can see that once more.
we can say, talk
See,
when
there's
you're
your
doing
beat.
it. Talk when you're doing it. So you enter one, right?
I mean, all the way out
All the way
to
out?
where you're gonna put your password in. I hate to make you do that, but.
That's okay.
Yeah,
Just-
that's where we.
Okay,
run
so
foul.
you'll have,
Right.
it'll be the state of Alaska. This little icon looks
Right.
like a little,
Mhm,
and
okay.
you click on that. And that's where you get to your ID. And then click over your password. And then you go to your F2,
So F2 is up there, okay,
right here, your F's are up here.
yeah, okay.
Okay. And then that's when you do your NGEL, SYS equals GEL.
Right.
You type it right, okay. And then you just hit enter. Oh. Errors are
Yeah. There you
Okay,
go.
that's probably what we would do.
Probably because I didn't shut down properly, so. And sometimes if it times out, it'll take you a few minutes to get back in, because it gets all confused because you timed out and then you're gonna send out.
Well, we would probably be timing out quite often because we're not gonna be using it except when we're going over there with deadlines.
So, for me, if I know I'm gonna be away from a bit, I close out, and that way it's not confused when I wanna get right back in.
One thing I do that has really helped me is when I know that I'm going away from it,
Mm-hmm.
I put in like my name or something really quick, or do some kind of thing that sets the retime,
Yeah.
so that then it gives me that amount of time. If I'm
Correct.
gonna go file something, then come back, it's still operational.
What is the time limit period?
I am not sure here what it is. We have longer, obviously, at the state, because we're doing data entry, so, I don't know, I could find out, but,
Oh, just curious.
but sometimes, I get working away and I'm like, oh, out of time. All right, let's see if they'll let me back in now.
Yeah, on our manual, on bottom of page 5, I don't see anything that says key F2.
I was seeing you've got F1, F2, F3, F4, and they said F4, but it's really F2.
Do you remember we wrote out a little cheat
See, it's a
sheet
GF2
for this?
right
I think
here.
it'd be nice to have it in the manual.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay.
if it just had plain
Well,
F2.
this is a state manual, so we're just using the state manual.
Okay. All right. I kept reading this and said, how did she get into that?
Yeah.
Well, after you do it a few times, it goes faster, doesn't it?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
obviously, but
Okay, because I
It's
could
been
put down
2
F2 on
years.
there.
So help me remind Amanda, I really would like that path written down for Amanda.
mhm.
I'll
Remember,
just-
we had a little
I'll
post-it
just go
note.
through and
Right,
print it
yeah.
out and
Mhm.
highlight it. And then make you some copies.
Yeah, just a little sticky note really helped us
Oh,
to
yeah.
do that.
That's what we used at the beginning, and then we got used to it.
You know, are we doing this all at the same time together, or okay, so if we
I
question.
think you usually have
We're
2
doing-
computers down there too.
Four.
Yeah, so you have 2 people.
You wouldn't be by yourself.
But, yeah, and then
Yeah.
I assume you trade off. or
And when we're
something.
doing that, there's usually a reader and then an inter,
Okay.
somebody, so there's 2 people doing
Watch.
that.
Yeah.
And isn't it true that now, this time we may be using a lot more extra people?
Yeah, we
So
have,
we have one commissioner and one extra clerical person working?
so this will just be after election day, because we recognize it's too small in that other room, and we wouldn't wanna, but we will, we have about 4 people at the commission's disposal to assist with the review process.
Okay.
If that, and, you know, we're welcome to feedback if you need more or less.
And if you need somebody to come up with you to ask Amanda a question, you know, then, you know, you've got somebody to come and do whatever with the ballot, so, yeah.
We still have 4 computers, correct?
Yes, you will have 4 computers for when you review, and I think just 1 in the other room. So, but there's,
There's one in the small room.
yeah,
We did have 2 last.
yeah. We borrowed a computer last year that we don't have access to anymore, so, and the other thing is we are giving, the absentee locations computers, but, that first week you're just reviewing what's come in so far on the absentee, so it is less of a workflow that you have the following week.
Okay, that, last year we found in my opinion, quite a few errors in the absentee thing. So are we reviewing those again, or is that go through?
The absentee by mail, did you
Bundled?
did you review them last year?
We did, I just remember we had a lot of that issue. That in one, at least, I think in 2 locations, one we corrected upstairs, but the library was doing it incorrectly.
Okay.
Yes,
We-
it was right, you're right, Rhonda, okay.
We have added some different procedures this year that we didn't do last year, so, the absentee by mail ballots, as you know, because you worked on this board, are reviewed when we data entry them, but we have also added, REMS access in this room for the, by mail board, so they do get the 2 reviews between downstairs and the board up here. And with the absentee in-person locations, we've never had training for them before. We've just sort of relied on the fact that these workers have done it year after year. This year, we're doing our first training ever. So, and we've also put together a manual for them. We've been working really hard over the last couple weeks on those 2 big things because it's a procedure we've never done before. So I anticipate we'll be able to address some of those issues. And if you could send me notes on exactly what you saw, I can really bring that up in training too.
I don't know if I remember.
Okay.
Also, we corrected a couple from the mail board too. So, especially the I factor, I know that's one.
Okay.
The felony stuff.
Okay.
They just need to be on the same page, because
Okay.
they've been doing it like forever, but
Yeah.
some of the things.
So I'll
have
get
changed.
everybody, I'll put together this afternoon that cheat sheet and the status codes, and I will have everybody have that next to their computer so that as they're entering them, they're aware of that.
Okay.
So that we can definitely do.
So the first day we come, we stack by precinct. I'm trying to remember what we did first. We stacked on those big gorilla.
Yep, and we got more of those, and we got the labels that you requested.
How did we stack them? I can't remember. By precinct?
Yeah.
Any that they reject, we get to take a look at.
Mhm, Of course, absolutely,
That's great.
absolutely.
Who rejects?
That the absentee or the mail-in.
Yeah.
or-
So, and it's, I think, important to recognize that they don't reject any ballots, they just notate
Notate there's a problem.
that there's issues. So, and we are already, I have some folks, we started the by mail data entry early, and so we have them actually working downstairs. But they are already notating which ones have the difference between the registered precinct and the residing precinct and stuff like that, so. we
So
are-
we would just make a determination about their.
We just
Yeah.
second look at it.
Yeah,
then
and so
make a
that's, you know,
determination.
as code's written, the election commission is the one that presents the ballots to be accepted and rejected. So they just pull them aside with concerns, and then. I just came back to just see if you wanted to discuss a date to have another meeting for the election commission, if you wanted.
Are we done here?
Yeah, did anybody else have any more questions?
Let's go to our
You're gonna
calendars.
have a
Yeah, I
chance
was
to
gonna say,
practice
thank you.
before we leave.
It's okay.
Oh, yeah.
Every now and then, that's
Do you
fine.
wanna, Pat, can you stay in here? if you
Yeah.
just wanna go?
Sometimes we need that, right?
As long as they're gentle.
I think that's what we did before.
So Jim just asked if there'd be some time to practice on drums, and Pat will stay in here with you. And if you want to run through some examples by yourself, you're more than welcome to do that. Yeah. So as we mentioned earlier, the ethics and election assembly.
Sorry.
Yes. This one too?
I don't know.
Yes, that's my writing.
The Assembly Ethics and Election Committee is reviewing this proposed change to Title 28 on Thursday at 11:30. That meeting is open to the public. If members are going to be there, we will need to notice that.
If members aren't, what was that?
If there's going to be more members of the commission there, then we'll go ahead and notice that.
If there's three or more.
Yeah.
Would that be beneficial for us to be there, do you think?
I don't know the answer to that. I'll be honest with you. I am not sure the discussion that they're going to have. It might be, you might get a better sense of the direction that they're going.
How long do you anticipate
I
that
won't
meeting
be at
lasts?
the meeting. I can tell you that much. We start training Thursday, so we will be in training until the following week. But
Do you know how long that meeting is gonna last?
it'll probably be less than an hour.
I have a dentist appointment at 1.
I will
So
not
I'm-
be there.
I don't think I will either, but I'm not sure.
So what is the meeting for? Is it with the assembly?
No.
There's the Assembly Committee that's chaired by Adam Trombley called the Assembly
Oh,
Ethics
ethics, yeah,
and
okay.
Election Committee, and they are just reviewing it. So that's typically anytime there's code changes that affect a committee's, ethics or elections, they'll review it before it goes before the body. And so it does go before the body at the Assembly meeting of March 11th.
And it was 11.
So that's really fast.
Yeah, it was just introduced last week.
Well, what we have discussed in the past is our biggest concern with that thing is that it exposes that people are out of town. So it exposes them to, thievery, that kind of stuff, which I think is a valid issue that needs to be brought up. So how do we want to do that? I mean, there's that work session for the Ethics Committee.
Or if you would like to just have I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
An election commission meeting, Friday or Monday, we could schedule something for you.
This Friday or next Monday. Okay. We could do that. I teach a class Friday afternoon and Monday afternoon as well. I could do it in the morning.
I would maybe
anybody else?
recommend Friday morning in case if you want to submit a resolution to the assembly.
Okay. Can anybody else come
What time?
Friday morning? I'm open.
Make it late morning, like 10 or 11.
It's fine with me. I like that.
Suggest
11
10.
would be great.
10, okay.
Sorry.
If you are gonna have action that you would like to go before the body, it might be nice to have a little bit more time. The agenda deadline is noon on Friday, so if
Oh,
you
wow.
came in at 10, you would have time to write
Okay.
something and submit it, if you wanted to do that, if you chose to do that.
I would like to do that. Is there anybody else who would come?
I don't know if we need to respond on such short notice from the assembly on an ordinance that's this weighty, because,
I feel like we have to get it in there. That's my thought.
yeah, our thought of getting it in there by not showing up is one way.
On the other hand, though, we have had discussions regarding this previously. I mean, it's not like it's a new topic. But
Yeah, like she
I-
said-
by the way, I will not be here. I'm out of town meeting, I'm going out of town tonight, so.
Okay.
But,
I hear what you're saying, but my point is, how do we break a bad habit? Mr. Birch, this is pretty quick for you guys, I mean, let alone us. And like, get it on the agenda, get it published, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that has to go on. So I just would hope that.
Point well taken, but I would not like to sacrifice our input on that for this. I don't know.
I guess what I am suggesting is that we don't have input on it. But you think that would be neglectful?
I do. I think it's an important issue.
Okay.
I sent it to the commission because I remembered the conversations we had leading up to the rewrite, and I think that, we spent 9 months working on the rewrite to Title 28. We had multiple work sessions, we had multiple public hearings. This issue was even brought up,
Yeah.
and then it passed as it was, and now.
Yeah.
well, even if the commission meets, like I said, I won't be here, commission meets on Fridays and determines that the subject is very complicated, at least the commission can come through with a statement stating that it's very complicated versus making nothing at all, if that's the consensus of the commission. So, even though I won't be here, I feel it's important that we kind of bring in.
So how many votes do we have? We have to have
We have to have
to
4.
enter a resolution.
Don't we have to have 4?
Quorums, you would need to have
4 people.
4 people.
I just have a question. Why is it not possible that we could do that now? Is it
Because this isn't noticed as a meeting,
Okay.
it's noticed as a work session.
Okay.
And
How long, because I'm confused, I can't remember, how long prior to a meeting do we need to notice it?
48 hours
48.
for an election commission meeting.
Okay.
And where does
Who can come on Friday morning?
I can sacrifice water aerobics and be here.
Well, you can do jumping jacks while you're having your meeting.
Right.
Can you ladies come?
I could come. It's like a third trip into Anchorage, so I'm not happy about it, but I can do that.
What about you?
I could probably come.
Would moving the date help at all?
How about you?
I don't know, I have to, talk to
Yeah, I
family
forgot.
members and do
Yes.
stuff,
Oh, okay,
you know.
I wasn't sure what you said
Yeah.
before. I actually am going to be out of the country again, so.
Thursday in the morning would be okay for me as well.
That'd be better for me.
It'd be better for me. Well, actually, it wouldn't be, but that's okay. I mean, I can function with that.
Okay.
So
Do we have enough time?
we do it like Thursday at 10:30.
Okay.
That's it right now.
Is that okay? May I have a show of hands of who could make Thursday at 10:30?
Yeah, I could make that.
Can you? Oh, you have to check.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay, if we have us 4, we can't be sick, guys. I don't want to come
Well,
in.
and also,
And then we
potentially
would be
Bonnie.
able for
I will
Yeah,
let
oh,
Bonnie
yes,
know
right,
too.
so, okay, so it's
Bonnie.
Thursday. Bonnie.
Oh, yes,
Bonnie
that's
Lynn.
right. Chief.
So where do you have to notice now? You don't have to do it in the paper.
No, no.
That makes it a
we-
lot quicker. Yeah.
I'll notice it on the
So,
internet.
and where will we meet?
I'm gonna
Which
go-
room will we do it?
right now. She's gonna go notice it right now, so the clock will start ticking.
Yeah. Wow.
And just for the logistics, is that something that we can park in this lot back here with the orange bags?
Should,
Okay.
should be able to,
Okay.
yes.
Just so I know.
I don't think it's
Planning.
gonna take long, guys. I think we just need to write something out and,
And that would be the only
Vote.
item on the agenda, I
Yeah.
would assume. Okay.
yeah.
All right.
And the purpose of the meeting is to go over and just clarify how we stand on this and make a statement.
Our recommendation to the
Make a
assembly.
recommendation to the ethics,
Yeah, to the assembly, I think.
to the
It's
assembly.
the address issue, that's the
Yeah.
only
No,
issue.
to the ethics and,
Yeah.
Oh, is that it?
ethics
Yeah,
and election.
because that's where we have to do this
Committee.
before they meet, so they have our recommendation.
This is gonna be, remember when we were before Adam Trombley before with the ethics and election?
Okay. I thought it was, we were making it before next Tuesday's assembly meeting. But either way,
No,
either way,
this is-
it comes.
They're meeting on March 11th. So, no, it's not gonna be before the
Okay,
So when is the assembly meeting?
Tuesday.
Tuesday, the 11th, right?
Yep,
Okay, when is the meeting of the ethics?
right
The same
after our
day.
meeting on Thursday. It's at
Okay.
11:30.
Oh,
So perhaps we could even,
No, it's not. She said March 11th.
no, that's the regular assembly meeting.
yeah.
The ethics
I would have-
meeting-
The ethics
Okay,
meeting
that's
is
why
this
I'm confused.
Thursday.
Okay, I'm confused, then, thank you, okay.
So that's on Thursday. also.
Yep, at 11:30.
I might bring up something really quick.
Okay.
Parking. Our first training session starts on Thursday morning. So in case you show up and someone's parked at every orange bag, because our election workers have learned an orange bag means election worker, even though we've told them to park in the garage.
Yeah.
If for some reason all the places are taken, you can park in the garage, bring your little slip and we'll validate it.
Okay, and that's the one by the bus station?
Yeah,
right?
over the bus station.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I hope they don't do that, but in case they do, because when they come pick up supplies, they're told to park at the orange bag. So that's why I'm
Oh.
saying, in case they've stolen all your parking spots.
Okay.
I just wanted to kind of give you a heads up and apologize in advance, but it's the first class and it's chairs and co-chairs, so they're the ones who really know about orange bags.
Okay, that's interesting. Are we supposed to be attending the training? We have in the past, at least one.
Well, I think we asked everybody if they wanted to attend one, you know, like when they first came on board. I think she signed up to come to a class so that she, you know, she had never been to one. So, no, it's not a requirement. It was just kind of a gather your info as to what we're telling the workers.
Yeah,
And, you know, just kind of know everything from the ground floor
that,
up. So
that was beneficial to know that in the
Yeah.
past.
I like the old days when the commission sat at the table on the stage up there in front during the training.
Tried to stay awake, huh?
Yeah. Look at all those people of which we are now, those people.
Well, I would say if someone wants to go to training, go for it. You know,
Yeah, just
I
let me
it
know
was
what day
very-
you want to go because we are overbooked in almost every class. And I've got a couple that are still not too cozy, so they'd be the better ones to go to if you want. On March
Could we have a
11th.
list of times?
March 11th at 8:30 or 2 would be the best time to go because those aren't up to 45 and 46 people in a class, so.
Well, it's kind of nice, I think, for the election workers to know that the commission is actually an entity and that they are introduced. I don't think they have to stay for the training. They could just be introduced. Oh, yes, by the way, we have some commissioners here with the election, and here they are.
They did introduce us last year, and I think it makes an impact.
Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah,
We also visited precincts last year.
on
Which-
the election day.
Yes, they went out and visited 2 to 3, 3 to 4, whatever.
I don't think we'll have that opportunity.
We need to, we will be discussing that today
Yeah,
when Amanda gets back.
yeah,
Because that's not in the
right.
new procedures.
Would you hand me my bag? The blue one.
Okay, here it comes.
And maybe the other.
So that's 8:30 a.m. and 2 in the afternoon.
And just call me and let me know which one you come to so I can fill up those spaces and, not overbook those 2 classes.
I'll be at 2.
2? Petey, 2, got it.
We're gonna have a lot of meetings on the 11th.
Well, we don't have to go to the assembly meeting, do we?
I don't think so. Do.
Yeah, if we come to the
Anybody
Thursday
else
meeting,
wanna-
that's.
Sign up for one right now? or-
I am going to try to make the 8:30,
Okay.
but I'm not positive because I'm watching grandkids that week.
Yeah, that's spring break, isn't it?
But I think I can 8:30. How
Yeah.
long do you expect it to be?
That one is a worker training, so those are 2 hours.
Okay.
The chair trainings are 3. We're doing it different this year. We're
Oh,
doing chairs
really?
and co-chairs in some trainings, and then just workers in other trainings. So the chairs and the co-chairs have 3-hour classes, and the workers have a 2-hour class.
When are you doing a chair? Is that this week?
Thursday and Friday. Are
Just
the first
Thursday and
2
Friday.
Or Thursday is the first 2 chair classes, when we have 2 a day when it's chairs, because they're 3 hours long.
Okay.
So Amanda doesn't have to teach longer than 6 hours a day.
Wow. So are both of those full up?
Yeah, but if you'd like to come, you still
I'm
can.
going on the Thursday afternoon one. That's,
Okay.
so.
Where is this information been published? I haven't seen it.
The training,
Yeah,
it's on our website.
okay. So y'all went to that and looked at it?
No.
How did you know about 8:30?
She just
I
told
just
me.
told
She
you.
just told me.
Oh, I was.
I think we should add to our, whatever that we need, we should be notified when they are.
Yeah, because I think I
Yeah,
got
usually we-
the information as an election worker.
Okay.
And then I was, because I was,
Previously done.
Yeah. So that's.
Okay, well, next year I'll send you guys, it's, the training schedule, well, I'll just send you a training schedule next year. I'll put that on my notes to do that next year too.
So when does it start on Friday?
Friday is 8:30, 11, and 2. Because they're worker trainings, we're talking about going to.
Is there a room
Training.
in those trainings?
At 8:30 and 2.
Okay.
On
So
the
don't-
11th, there's room at 8:30 and 2. We don't want to squeeze you in where there's already 45, 46 people. So the 11th is your best bet, 8:30 or 2.
But that's, but the chair training is only Thursday and Friday, correct? And
There's
those are all
another
full?
one on there's 2 more on the 10th of March.
Okay.
And I'm not sure how full they are, I'd have to.
So if you could email us and let us know if you're interested in going to which one and which one you're interested in going to so that we can, because we just looked at it this morning and there's some that have 45 and 46 people and there's not room in those training classes for
Okay.
additional people.
Shall we begin our manual?
Yes.
Do you want to take, I call this meeting to order? Do you want to take?
It's
It's still a work
session.
session?
It's still a
Oh,
work
really?
session.
Okay. All righty.
Explain manual, please, you mean this?
The, our procedures manual?
okay.
Yes, election, it says Election Commission in huge bold letters.
It's in the white folder that I didn't bring either. I'll look on the computer.
You're gonna copy your homework.
This was our homework, wasn't
Oh,
it?
okay.
Yeah. I think this, Madam
You
Chair.
know, I did all that, and I wrote Gwen an email, and I considered myself finished.
Well,
That's good.
I think this thing needs to have a lot of work, but I don't know if we've got enough time to do it this year.
Was that in Title 28?
No, not Title 28.
Our procedures manual?
I recognize a lot of the lingo from the time I was here 10 years ago, so.
Okay, I sent an amount, I went through all our old copies. I had about 5 to 7 copies. And what I had of those, and I kind of incorporated them all together because we did some new procedures last year that we hadn't done before, which I understand we're still going to retain. For instance, do you remember when they vote out of district, we put in a colored piece of paper, and those ones that were out of district, we put in the front of that precinct? That is a procedure that, and we kind of did it at the last end, but that is a procedure we are going to retain. So, I went over this last night with my husband, who is a grammarian, and bless his heart, I love him. To me, it doesn't matter, but these are grammatical errors.
I agree with you.
So I don't know if that's important to us or not, but anyway, there are grammatical, and they're easy to change, and it is kind of nice to have it right. But there are two things that are quite different, and I don't know if they're important to us. One is that on Election Day, there was a thing about Election Day where we go out and visit the precincts. That has been eliminated entirely. And I know Barbara expressed her concern, and it sounded like it was a payroll issue. I would have liked to have talked with her to see if there's any other concerns about that.
Is this page 4 where it says language to be determined?
Page 4. Where's that?
Okay,
Where's
so
the
the one,
language?
why don't we just do this, the one in our manual, or I mean in the
Yes.
book is 119/2014.
Yes. Is everyone on the same copy?
2.5, yeah, let me get this one.
And Amanda did a great job of this. She reworded a few things, and I mean, it's just really wonderful. The grammatical things are little ones, but anyway, I was hoping to be able to discuss with them about our going out on Election Day. To me,
Do you want me to go see if Barbara's available?
She said that she would come down and answer any questions.
Okay, want to go see?
okay.
She told me that.
You know what? Can we take a break? I would like to go to the restroom. While we wait for her.
It's on this one? Oh, there it is. Gotcha. That's not the one I marked up.
Well, me either, because I had the 215. Did you
Yeah.
have the 215?
I have
Yeah.
the 2.5. That came over the computer because I printed this off my
2.5, I'm
computer.
sorry, mine is 2.5. I said 215.
Yeah.
It's good times and
Of course, I use back sheets of paper, so I think what we could do is share this. I know I had a lot of comments.
Well, I think it's
Yeah,
embarrassing if we have grammatical errors in it because
Well, I'm the same way, I use,
You don't
I
want
put
to
I put
do you want to get
periods.
on the computer while we're
Yeah.
on the potty break and let's need to go down the hall?
Yeah.
Okay, signed all the way out.
see 119 is the
Go for
one
gold.
that's in our notebook.
That's state of Alaska.
Well, it's not.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it is. I'm
And
sorry.
you can why.
So that's, I don't even, I'm trying to not,
I didn't even look in this one when because I went by the one I had from before.
Nope.
yeah, I don't, well, this one we got sent to us
Right,
on the computer, so.
and you know what, I did not realize it was.
This wasn't on the agenda, that's on the website that you're going over right now. The green thing was, but I had no notification that you were gonna be going over this.
R-A-N-D-M-A-1.
No public notice.
Maybe you should bring that up to
G-R-A-N-D-M-A, grandma.
I just went over to Amanda, but I'm noticing this, and then I'm not seeing any printed copy of the agenda here.
I don't know if there's a printed copy for a work
Nope,
session. I'm not
That's,
familiar
you
with
know
it.
what they're saying. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
I
I'm not gonna
publicly-
answer.
Yeah, I know, but just know is that the one thing that you, on the item of the green thing,
Okay.
there was
Now, see, this
a,
doesn't see anything on there.
there was a
But we
note
got
that you were
those.
doing and discussed that here today, the green thing, that training session. all that.
Maybe we gotta put in that.
But I don't notice this one.
N-G-L.
And I quickly went over to Amanda and noted I need a copy, but the fact is, it needs to be noted, publicly noticed on that. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
No, that sheet, the last one is
Is the
the
municipal.
municipal
And the others are all state and federal. So you're a super voter.
Super voter?
Super voter means there's.
Amanda, I want to just ask you something. Like I said, I told the people here that my husband and I went through this to compare yours and mine. And he is a grammarian, so, and then he made a lot of little, you know, but these, I think I can just hand them to you, couldn't I?
Yeah, do you want me to, I'll just photocopy it with the color copier and we
That
can.
way.
Well, I
it's
have
almost
my,
impossible to bump
I
yourself
have my
out
other
of it
notes,
until
but yeah,
you
we'll do this
Mhm.
afterwards. Is that all right?
Can I just copy it?
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Anybody else want to get on here? You've been on here already, so. Okay.
I won't review what I do today.
If you need anything else, we all
Thank
know
you,
where to
Pat.
find
It's
me.
wonderful, wonderful training.
Are you still in your little cubby over there?
I am.
Okay, I haven't been over there to see where you were, so, okay,
And the door should lock when you shut it.
Okay.
If not, just mess with the button. That way you don't have to worry about the key.
okay, all right.
Don't leave Eugene in here without you guys.
Right.
We will. Thanks.
Can I talk to you about it, or do we have to wait?
I think we can talk where all of us are here. That's fine.
This is
My
what I was
copy is
referring
gone.
to. See, it says election language to be added.
Show me where. Point. Okay, that has entirely been eliminated in the newest copy, which I think we want to talk
I'm gonna go
about.
around and answer. How many need a copy of the latest one?
Which date?
Is it two of you?
Which date?
The 119 one? I'm not-
No, and you've got a 2.5 one.
I don't have a 2.5.
I don't have the two.
That one came.
I know, this
On
is
the
the one in
internet.
our notebook, what has been updated. So
okay.
I'm gonna go ask Amanda to
You
run through
printed
all
that
three.
off the internet?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't.
May
pick
I-
it up.
may I
No,
say
this-
that?
No, this is what was sent to us last year. So take a look at it.
But when
We'll see
did
if
that
you can-
come through? Because
It was probably
Oh, this is
before you were appointed,
2013.
Barbara. It was
There you go.
probably before
I
you.
think it was 2013.
Never
Please
mind.
Thank you.
disregard. It's the wrong year.
I know.
I
We're
did
still
that with my
early in
bank
14.
account because they've just been sending everything over there.
I know. I had to purge my notebook.
And I wanted to have, for my savings account, I don't balance it all the time. So I wanted to have printed copies. So when did I said the last one I got was on September 12th. So I'd like to have, the last one I got was September 12th, 2012. You can tell I don't use the account
Well,
much.
you know, these early dates, we're used to 1995.
Yeah.
and,
There you
know,
go.
So when we say 2013, 14, 15.
What
not a
difference
current
does it
number.
make?
Amanda, bring up two copies.
Excellent,
You hear
thank
what
you.
we did? The one I was talking about is 2013.
Right. Yeah. No, I knew that.
Hello,
I knew
hello.
that.
Okay.
That's why I brought that. I made all.
I would like to just ask you before they go, how important is it that we go to some precincts on election day? That was our recommendation in the difficult year.
I think
Yeah,
so.
And it was based on we were basing a lot of the procedure on the year Hickle or something, and it was another close contest. And they recommended, that election commission also recommended. To me, that's like the first hand.
I had such positive comments when I went out to the precinct, said, oh my gosh, you know, the election, someone
I
from the
did
election
too.
commission
I
is
did
there.
too.
I just feel it is extremely beneficial, not just for us, but for them.
How do you feel about the payment thing? If that is the issue, whether we get paid or
Oh.
not, does that bother
Well, do
you?
we get paid for this? We don't get paid for a lot of
Yes,
this.
we
Yeah.
do.
yeah,
We do?
yeah.
We get paid, we won't get, probably not get paid for attending training, but we get paid for any meetings that we have.
When we attend ethics and committee meeting. we don't
Yes.
get paid.
We haven't gotten any checks.
No, I was going to say, they told me not meetings. Trainings, maybe, but when
Gotta
we
check this
actually.
year for something.
Anytime we are officially here,
Okay, I think we need to.
meetings or
not.
training, it doesn't matter.
Thank you.
Okay,
So,
sorry about that.
one of the reasons why that came up is that year, we were told that our job was done until the polls closed. And we weren't gonna do any work with ballot envelopes or anything until the next day. So basically, they told us our hands are tied, we couldn't do anything. And so the idea of not doing anything as opposed to going to the precincts and visiting sounded like a much better idea. I don't care whether we get paid for that or not. I think wearing the hat as a commissioner and just being out in the community is a great thing.
As an election worker, I really wasn't even aware of a commission.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
you know,
what I
I
heard, that's what I
remember when they introduced a commission, when the whole commission was at one of the trainings that I went to,
Mhm.
but not really have a lot of, so I think that is a good.
Yeah, we didn't get to all precincts, but the ones that we got to were so happy to see us. I mean, I agree with Joyce, it was so positive.
Thank you so much.
As a matter of fact, when I
Thank you.
signed up to be on the election commission, I was shocked that we were getting paid to attend meetings. Honestly, I just thought it was a volunteer position, so it didn't matter to me.
So Amanda, I want to commend you on your corrections, and it was great.
Thank you.
Like I said, I just handed, she just copied my thing, so all of the grammatical things I think will just be taken care of.
Okay.
You know, I don't think we need to spend time on that.
I have a list of things that I'll give you when I come back. So
Okay. There are two things that are different, which I just thought we should discuss. Amanda, one of them is the election day
Paige?
page 5. There was one section on election day that we went out to the precincts, and I know there's been some discussion about that. Barbara's pretty. I know that she mentioned paying us was, a difficulty. So I just wanted to discuss that because that's not in this. Do you want to say anything?
Well, I think it's also important to recognize where you are at with review of ballots at that time, because I don't want to compromise being able to finish by certification by having. I know that it seems in the past couple of years that you haven't had a lot of work on election day, and I think in 2012 you were actually told not to come in. I do think it's beneficial to have you here and working on election day, so we will, as we get closer, be able to determine how you're going with processing what you've received so far. We are really pushing early voting, which could create an influx of work for the election commission.
More in the
Yeah.
front end rather than at the
Yes, so we are really encouraging.
I wondered if that was a concern, because it looks like we are attempting to get done faster, our actual slogging through the
Well, it's
verification.
always the same deadline to get it done, because the certification always happens 2 weeks after the election day. And I know in 2012, because of the other issues with the election, they didn't, I think we certified like 3 or 4 times in 2012. And I know that last year we were working right up to the last minute on that. I think ideally our goal is to be able to notify people as soon as possible if their ballot's going to be rejected, so they're able to come to the canvas. And our goal is just to be really proactive. And we've done that this year with everything. We've changed all of our deadlines and sort of moved things up about a week, just so that we're not scrambling, and we want to just be ahead of the game. So
Nice.
it might be best just to evaluate where you're at when you're actually working and seeing the volume of ballots.
Okay, so that is a possibility that we can add that at a later
We
date.
can discuss it.
Okay. Does that?
Well, is it, you mean add it into the manual, or add it into what we would do on election day?
Add it into what you would do.
Well, is there any reason why we couldn't put it in the manual stating if time permits?
I like that. What about you?
Yeah,
and if the issue is also, being paid, I think that would be, if time permits in election commissioners, something or other, because I think all of us have said it doesn't matter if we get paid to do that or not.
I will discuss with Barbara.
Okay. Is that satisfactory?
Sure.
The other issue, and I don't know even if it's a big deal or anything, or even a little deal, is on page 6. The public canvas meeting, and Amanda, you can tell me your thinking on this. All of the reference to the commission being involved in that decision is removed. Is that new policy, or that just kind of going back to old policy?
Actually I don't know. I reviewed this, Barbara reviewed this, we had Dennis Wheeler review it, so I'm not sure
Okay.
where that change came from.
Okay.
And
So
I-
that's in 4A, it says the deputy clerk schedules the public canvas, which is really pretty much what happened anyway.
Yeah, and that's just consistent with code.
Okay. So that's just like a code update in the wordage. Okay.
That's one thing with Barbara Jones as municipal clerk. We always just go back to the code.
Okay.
And so a lot of times she'll have this open on one screen and the code open on the next, and just making sure that everything is in line.
Okay, my last thing is 4G on page 6. The municipal clerk's office records the minutes. And in the draft that I gave to you, it was talking about that we kept a log of who testified and who challenged their thing. Is that the same? Is the minutes of the meeting the same as keeping a log?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's like the minutes that we got to you from
Mhm.
all of last year. We're a little bit more proactive about that now.
It will be more detailed on, like, who says they should be counted and who and why, all that. Okay.
So I'm still a little confused on, so when you say record your minutes, I realize that the minutes are, and I forgot the term that you used for the type of minutes this is good.
Action minutes.
Thank you, action minutes, I couldn't think of the word. They're action minutes. So if we're gonna record the minutes, they would be action minutes, but what about what Gwen is talking about with the log?
More detailed
You know,
information.
records the minutes, is the log an attachment then to the minutes? Is that, I'm with Gwen, I wanna make sure that's part of the record.
Okay, this is my understanding that the minutes would capture anyone who came forward to address their vote not being rejected. It would also have we created the Excel spreadsheet last year with all the voters and their
Right.
reasons. It would have all that stuff would be part of it. Is there more detail that you want?
No, I just,
I just don't know
Is
if
it
we
going-
need to write it in there. Is that what you're thinking? Or-
right, so, let me clarify that. So the minutes would state, Bryce Anderson appeared before the election commission and appealed the rejection of ballot, and then the elections commission's decision was,
Yes, because that
so to speak.
that would be the action that occurred.
Okay, right, that's what you're going with.
Yeah.
So then is there somewhere in the minutes that's going to say, attached is the log of all the rejected absentees, or I call them absentee
Rejected ballots.
Yeah. Envelopes. Ballots, envelopes.
Yeah, I would imagine that would be all in those documents. I mean, we maintained all the documents from 2013 with that.
Right.
So,
Can we add that in there? And maybe you could write a note. Could we
I guess
add
I'd
that
like
in
to
there?
have that added
Yeah.
in there, just for clarification.
So G
because-
says municipal clerk's office records the minutes. Would we just write with attached
No.
challenge log?
4G,
okay.
with attached,
Challenge log?
yes, or whatever we're gonna call
It
it.
should be challenge log,
Right.
with challenge log attached.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Is there any other concern about these? I mean, like I said, she just copied my notes so that all of the little grammatical things can be.
So, and just to let you know what I will be working on before you start working, I'm going to create a list of status codes and meetings from the state. I'm going to have that available for everyone who's reviewing the ballots and for the commission. I'm going to have a
Can I interject? It would be nice to have some that are large for
okay.
more mature eyes to see
Okay,
on the
so
wall.
we can have like a poster. 'Cause the other thing that I was gonna make was, we talked about this at our last meeting, I was gonna make some large signs with the new reject codes so that we could have them around your workspace. And then, I'm gonna make the updates to this election commission manual. And I'm also gonna talk to Barbara about the election commission's duties on election day. Did I
Okay.
capture everything?
One thing we would like is when we check for the identifiers on the mail-in envelopes, the absentee envelopes, it was very helpful to have a large chart with the order of what we're checking for. So it's just like a check, 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 check. Maybe we could do that later anyway.
Okay, and if you, it might be helpful for me if you sent me maybe your vision for that, and then I can create it
Okay.
for you large. Would that work?
Yes.
Okay. Because then I capture exactly what
Yes.
you're looking for. So if you send that to me, I am happy to do that. And then I had one other thing that I just thought of. That I just
We thought of one thing
Oh.
while you were out of the room as well. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to let you know, on Thursday, I have you meeting at 10:30, and you will be meeting downstairs in the Ombudsman's front conference room. So not the conference room that you work on during your first week of review, but it's actually inside the Ombudsman's room. We are
Okay.
short on space.
Okay.
Going into, I think we are using up every square inch of space in City Hall, so.
The other thing that we had discussed is, when we get into the computer, the first thing,
Yeah.
first we put in our ID, then the password, and then the F2, and we were thinking if we could have something printed up so that, yeah,
I can do that.
as brief but containing everything as
Rather than
possible.
sticky notes like we had
Yeah.
before that would fall off.
Yep. We are happy to help you with any of those sort of things. And as when you get them to me now, it's a lot easier for me to get them to you than when you're absolutely full steam ahead. So.
By the way, we determined, this is a change for us, and I haven't even talked with it, but we discussed it at the end of last year. We are not going to we are doing a bulk count, but we're not doing what we did the last year where we counted in between. We do a bulk count, and at the end, we do a big count, and we compare the numbers, because it was pointless to do the little one in between.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to do.
Don't know what you mean by
Yes.
the little one in between.
We do the bulk count, and then at the end of the day, or at the end of that batch, we'd resolve it, and then we put those numbers up on the thing, and then we do batch
Because we keep
one.
changing the numbers on
Yeah, and
all
it
day
just,
long to remember that we
and it
keep changing
didn't,
them.
I mean, we balanced. I mean, it was wonderful. But those other ones in between did not balance and were frustrating and a waste of time. So,
So when is it exactly we're going to start? We're going to be here on March.
I'm going to grab my calendar.
25th. Is that a Monday? or Tuesday?
now, I have a question for you guys. Do we need to read through this right now? With you, Barbara, this is probably Greek. You won't know until you get there. And I would recommend that you read it, but don't worry about it. But for the rest of you guys, do we need to run through this now? Or can you just read it on your own? And what do you think?
I have some things that I wanted from the old one that I have to kind of incorporate, so
Yeah.
I need to.
Read it on your own, is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
I can read it on my own, but would I have another, if you approve it today, are you talking about approving it today?
Well,
I don't think
anything
it's
that needs to be
approved,
approved.
kind of a
Okay.
document.
It's a document that we work with.
All right.
But Amanda is making some corrections to it.
Grammatical.
Yeah, grammatical corrections to it.
So 7 days before the election is when you can begin your review based on codes. That's March 25th.
Okay. And what time are we going to come in? 8 o'clock or what?
What works? Do you want to do 9?
What about you guys?
8:30?
It's so light in the first part. I think 9 would be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay? And we'll adjust if we need to.
That'll give us a feel for what's come in and what
Yeah.
our workload should be and what we can schedule.
So the 25th?
Yes.
And about how long is that?
All day.
Okay.
So then, just for your reference, the commission meeting, and they're not meetings, they're work sessions after that, and the commission begins reviewing. And so typically you'll work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the following Monday is March 31st, Tuesday is election day. And then starting the day after election day is when you sort of get the full load of exactly everything that you'll need to review. So all the ballots will come back from the polling places, the question ballots, and then you'll get the full load of the absentee ballots too. So, and then,
So kind of plan on, from the 25th on, full days.
until, yes, so it's about 3 weeks worth of full day works, because you'll work
Okay.
the first 2 weeks of April, and then we're scheduled to certify on April 15th as of right now. And it, of course, as Glenn mentioned, as the stuff starts coming in, we really get a good idea of how much work there'll be. Sometimes the commission has worked Saturdays, sometimes we've worked into the evenings. We're hoping that by having additional workers,
Yeah.
that you will be able to just work a more standard day. I think I can tell you, it's exhausting to work long hours, so.
The public canvas would be, is that 7 days after election?
I think so. I think we did it in the Thursday evening last year,
Uh-huh.
and I think it was nice having it in the evening because it allows
Yeah.
for more people to be able to come. And so I think we'll probably strive for that, and we'll, as it gets closer, we'll discuss that.
So that would be April 8th.
I don't think that it might be a good idea to put down a date, because we
Oh,
really don't
yeah.
know what the
Oh, I
volume
thought
is.
it had to be, I thought it was
No.
a code thing.
No.
I think
No, sooner than
it's
that.
within, it can be no sooner than or no later than, there's something like that,
So-
but it's
okay,
not
that was
specific,
it.
it's not
Okay.
specific, but we'll make sure we review that before we actually set up that date.
I have a conflict that I just wanted to ask you about, Amanda. I on the 28th, which is the Friday before the election, I am working Thursday through Sunday at a convention.
Okay.
Would it be okay if I missed Friday?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you can have up to a certain number of absences, so, yeah.
Okay, we'll see how it goes at that point. but
And that you have a vice chair that can,
I do.
as long as your vice chair is there, they can take over your chair duties. So.
Okay.
So the 15th is the targeted cert date right now.
That is the goal.
When did you say, the 15th? I thought it was
April.
April 15th,
Oh, is the targeted what?
certification.
That is the day of there is incredible astrological things that evening, the 14th and 15th.
Oh,
Is the first of a triad that hasn't happened in thousands of years.
What is it?
What's the trouble?
It's the first of a triad of moon eclipses.
Oh,
Okay.
it's also
That night.
election, or IRS day.
Yeah, well,
And Passover. So,
And I hope to have my taxes.
be quite the day.
Oh, my God.
Work
that'll
ahead,
be
work
the
ahead of
Assembly
me.
Chambers.
Yes, yes, and we'll get you all that information as it gets closer.
Okay, about my question, guys. Do we need to read through that now, or can you just read it on your own to refresh your minds? And to get a taste of
I
it,
prefer to read
Barbara?
on my own. I need to know if we're using the term universal code, some other stuff. And I'd like to have a copy of the CERT resolution that goes to the Assembly on election.
Oh, the one from 2012, I mean 2013.
Right,
Yeah,
just for,
yeah,
for
I will
it.
send that to everyone.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I will add it to my to-do list.
So we don't have a
You
new
want just
copy.
what the election commission writes, right?
Correct. I don't need numbers. I just need
Format.
because I don't. I get confused.
Are we supposed to be there at 5 or 5:30 for the assembly certification?
5.
Amanda, would it be pushing you too much if you could get those corrections done and we could pick up a new copy on Thursday?
We can do that.
Okay.
It's good to have deadlines. And Thursday.
And could you send it out via email too?
Yes. Okay,
Good work, guys.
good work.
Yay.
If anyone wants to stay and practice with friends, we can have that set up. I can get Pat back in here if you want her to assist you as you review runs. Does anyone feel like they want some more time on that?
I'll do it the first day. Very good.
It looks
Thank you
like
for good
something.
training.
It's kind of like, you need some examples just to learn.
Yeah.
We got really familiar with it because we certified a petition this year with 20,000 signatures on it, so. We've been busy. I just said this to Barbara the other day. I said, remember that time we certified that petition a couple of months ago? Where do we do all these things?
Wow.
So,
What I'm asking for is the form that's relative to page 7. Number 7. if you review the rest.
yes, I can do that. Because that goes before the body, so I'll just send you one with the page last year.
Alrighty.
All right.
Then
Thank
we're
you.
And
back
where are these, there, I think I want one more.
10:30.
You do? I'll go grab some.
That's
But I don't need all the copies.
You
I
just
probably
want the
just
one
this one.
with all of them? Okay, I'll go grab that.
What's that one?
Anybody from the Eagle River want mine? From the Eagle River?
Could you-
yeah, I live in Eagle River.
Okay. 'Cause
Okay.
I want to go out there for some
I'll give you mine.
I think I'm gonna post this general one at church because we have people from the
There we go, Barbara.
Okay.
They should stand out pretty.
Yeah, I know, I must have stuck them in here.
They look like Easter eggs, don't you think? Except they're not oblong, but that's what they remind me of.
Somebody stole them.
So today and then
Pretty sure.
Yeah, I did. Oh, there we are.
Because we're still reviewing ballots in one of these pages, and we can do that.
So if we're coming at 10:30 on Thursday.
Yes.
If we were to stay for the
Yep.
ethics, do we need to let you know? Does that matter?
I would probably want to notice it. So if you, especially if more than 3 of you are going to stay.
Is it advantageous for us to stay?
I don't know the answer to that. I mean, it might give you a good idea of what they're discussing. I'm not sure. I mean, it'll be in here. So we have chairs for, you would be part of the audience.
I'm going to try to do it.
Okay.
I feel like if we make a resolution, often I'm asked to comment on it or something.
Okay. So I'll just go ahead and add it so that it's noticed.
I mean, but we're here anyway.
Exactly.
So, is that a good idea to stay?
I think so. I mean, if we're noticing it, yeah, that'd be great if you can.
If we come a little bit before then, they'll tell us where that room is. You're
Yeah.
gonna stick us.
Yeah.
Is it kind of at the end of the hall, turn left, and
It has,
that
like, the
office
nice wood
area?
furniture in it. It's a smaller conference room, but
Oh. So you go to the end of the hall, you turn left, and then you turn
go
left
actually
again.
into the ombudsman's office, and then
Yeah, and there's a little conference room to the left, right? Is that the one? Okay. Do I press a button?
yeah, you can press stop.